This wasn't a headline. It was a quiet tremor, and the silence that followed is the loudest part of the story. When Vogue Japan revealed Taehyung as its latest cover star, something shifted. Not with a bang, but with a breath held. That collective pause from the global fashion sphere speaks volumes. It's the signal of a moment that isn't just about visibility, but about vision. The magazine's editorial choice felt deliberately understated. There was no frantic push for hype, no narrative force-fed to the audience. Instead, they offered space. Space for interpretation. Space for aura to speak louder than attire. He wasn't framed as a mannequin for garments, but as the narrative itself. A story to be read, not just seen. The quietest placements often hold the heaviest weight. Within Vogue Japan's storied history, this selection feels like a deliberate statement. This edition doesn't follow cultural waves. It often predicts them. Popular faces appear often, but the central narrative role is reserved. It's an honor given to those who represent a directional shift, not just a current trend. Here, Taehyung is presented as someone the fashion world has always viewed through a different lens. His identity isn't tied to trends, but to a personal artistic philosophy. He isn't just a face. He's a character with depth. Why does this specific collaboration feel like it's laying groundwork rather than capping an achievement? This event quickly outgrew the typical chatter about fabrics or poses. The discourse moved into deeper territory. Observers began asking what this calm presentation signified. Was this positioning part of a longer game? The public began to sense this wasn't an isolated event, but a marker on a timeline yet to unfold. In an industry addicted to speed, the choice of a slower, more measured rhythm becomes its own powerful declaration. It suggests the intent isn't a momentary spike in attention, but a lasting redefinition of presence. This feels like an opening chapter. So what is the book? Vogue Japan seemed to understand that true influence isn't always about decibels. Sometimes it's about resonance. They allowed the story to breathe, to mature in the audience's mind organically. The editorial pace felt more like a documentary's thoughtful gaze than a commercial's frantic cut. This approach fundamentally alters the viewer's role. We are not just spectators, we are interpreters. The magazine placed him not merely as a center of attention, but as a center of meaning. This is the crucial divergence. Many are featured for their reach. A select few are positioned for their depth. The publication's legacy adds immense gravity to this reading. Its historical covers are often later viewed as cultural milestones. Against that backdrop, this placement feels like a strategic investment. The public response validated this. Discussions spilled beyond expected circles. Fashion critics, cultural commentators, and artists began dissecting the why behind the aesthetic. The collaboration began to mirror a broader industry evolution. Impact is no longer just about numbers, but about narrative layers and authentic presence. Taehyung, with his intrinsically artistic and introspective nature, naturally aligns with this new metric. His story doesn't end at a runway. It flows into music, visual arts, and global culture. A subtle tension builds the longer you sit with this story. The presentation feels intentionally incomplete, as if a door has been left purposefully ajar. Vogue Japan didn't rush to provide a conclusion. That open space is where anticipation lives. When an editorial makes you question the purpose behind the beauty, it has transcended its basic function. Every detail in this narrative feels deliberate, placed with foresight. Nothing appears accidental. This isn't about introducing Taehyung to the world. He is known. It's about introducing a new framework through which to understand him. They aren't selling a moment. They're building a lens. In a landscape cluttered with noise, this partnership chose a path of quiet confidence. He is presented not as the source of the clamor, but as a point of stillness within it. And from that stillness, profound meaning emerges. This aligns with a growing global appetite for substance over sheer volume. Audiences now crave figures who offer depth in an age of surface-level stimulation. Cross-disciplinary analysis only cemented this position. He is increasingly viewed not just as an idol or a model, but as a multi-dimensional cultural figure. What makes this narrative so compelling is the lack of grand proclamation. No press release declared this a historic pivot. Yet the feeling is unmistakable. The most significant shifts are often felt, not announced. We are now witnessing the foundation of something larger. This cover story is not a climax. It is a cornerstone. Vogue Japan concludes this segment with a calm assurance, implying the structure built is solid enough to stand without fanfare. The ending isn't a firm period. It's a deliberate ellipsis. It grants the audience time to assemble their thoughts, to feel the gravity beneath the calm. In entertainment, these are the moments that signal a transition, a shift felt in the atmosphere. Thus, the central question evolves. It's no longer why was he chosen, but what comes next? Will this positioning catalyze a broader cultural role? Will new contexts emerge that completely reframe our understanding? Has Vogue Japan simply unveiled the prologue to a far more ambitious, cross-industry narrative? This story is strategically paused, not unfinished, but patiently awaiting its next act. When it resumes, the public may look back and see that every clue was embedded from this very beginning. What felt like a quiet introduction may well be remembered as the first tremor of something monumental. If this analysis resonated with you, please help us grow by liking this video and exploring the channel CelebWorldInsight for more deep dives.